In part two of our show with Maeve Acheson from Pluto, TikTok expert, we are doing more deep diving into TikTok for a business. We're going to touch on mistakes that happen with businesses when they're on TikTok. So we hope you enjoy part two.
So again, it's Friday. Thankcrunchy is Friday. So today, as we always like to go and see what is the trending day of the year of the day. It is today, no housework day. How did you know that was it's my favorite day of the year?
It's my favorite day every day of the year, I think, at this stage.
So go on, tell us what's your favorite bit of housework, Philip?
Do you know, I do like hoovering. I don't know what it is. I put on my earbuds, crank up the music. I'm a 90s kid.
You mean to say, no, you're not listening to podcasts? No, just,
No, it's probably a bit of scooter and, a bit of acid rave. And I'm hoovering, so me and the Hoover are having a rave in the kitchen.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, when you're finished, you can come over to my house because I hate hoovering. But anyway, so
what do you like, Emer? What do you like?
What's what I like? I'm doing windows, actually.
Is that so you can see out because you're a bit of a nosy Parker?
Because I like to be fully transparent.
Oh, right. Okay. Maeve, what do you like about it? Do you like doing housework, Maeve?
Do you know what? I like the ironing because, it's similar to the hoovering vibe. I feel like you can listen to podcasts, listen to some music. Yeah. You've your tasks to get done. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So you guys will be over later, and I'll come do your windows. There, that's a good deal.
Yeah, sounds all right. Okay.
You haven't seen my laundry.
Listen, welcome back to Maeve Acheson. Maeve is from the award-winning Irish creative digital agency called Pluto. Maeve is a strategic director of content and loves creating experiences, understanding people. Am I right, Maeve, that there's a touch of psychology as well, that you like psychology in the background?
Yeah, look at you. Did you research? I have a diploma in counselling and psychotherapy. So that's definitely interested in human behaviour and why we do the things we do.
Yeah, well.
Okay, well, maybe you can let us know about himself later, just to be sure.
I'll be getting a certificate from Maeve after the interview, I think. So,
anyway, before we really dive in, Philip, before she does give us the results or report on you.
Well, it's great to have you back, Maeve.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive back in. If you missed part one, do go back and have a look. We're on YouTube and on the podcast. Maeve has given me and Philip more insight into TikTok. I am the nervous video gal, but we are getting there. And there is hope. There's miracles to happen, Maeve, I'm hoping. So if you want to go and check us out where I'm more comfortable, which is the podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Podbeam, and the Dublin South FM website. And Mr. T?
Yes, if you want to see myself and Emer and Maeve talking all about TikTok on our first part, head over to the Let's Get Social Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. And music come below if you like what we're doing.
And do be social and reach out and drop us an email at Dublin South FM, which is inquiries@dublinsouthfm.ie. And we'd love to know what you'd like us to cover, and we will turn it into a show.
Yeah.
So
diving back in, Maeve, for businesses who want to measure maybe the success of their campaigns on TikTok, talk us through is there analytics and how they can go about maybe measuring what success looks like on TikTok?
Or I suppose are you more so looking at website traffic and in that case then do you want to focus on click-throughs? I suppose in terms of comparing it, people initially would have seen TikTok as kind of a broader part of the funnel, and for kind of brand awareness was kind of where people were seeing it within the funnel. I think it's great for that. It's definitely a big part of what we use it for. But I suppose over time people are seeing it now in terms of it is if you are optimizing your campaign for website traffic, it is really I suppose on par with other platforms for that. It's God, I think, click-through average rate of 1%, which is on par with Facebook. So, you know, we are seeing, I suppose, what might have once been seen as kind of the higher end of the funnel. We're kind of seeing a difference there. But I suppose the thing about it is, you know, it's the same as any other platform in terms of the reach, the impressions, the engagement. It's got a stronger engagement rate in general compared to other social platforms. But the biggest thing I would say is, and I wish I had the stat for you, I don't, but it's like with a surprising number of TikTok users aren't using other platforms. They're not using Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So in a lot of ways, you kind of need to consider your TikTok audience a new audience. Well, I suppose it's going to vary from brand to brand, but you need to have a look and think about that, because sometimes people are kind of still at the stage where they're shoehorning TikTok into their overall campaign strategy without really giving it a lot of thought about what role does it play within your overall marketing funnel. And I suppose, you know, I would often be reluctant if a client comes to me who it's their first entry onto the app and they're focused on like website traffic or sales, you know, that like you have to be realistic about it as well. I think sometimes people don't have the most so like, you know, really think about it. If this is your first entry onto the app, then it's your brand awareness moment, and you have to put the groundwork in there with that audience on this platform in this style. And I suppose do keep that in mind and be realistic about that.
Could I just ask you, like, because that's a good point you're making there, like for business who may be just starting, because I think we see this across all the social channels, you know, you do need to have patience. It's about consistency and trying to tweak and hone that content. Would you kind of feel, so that businesses don't get disheartened, that should there be maybe a focus on trying to build on getting more and more views and then maybe likes, and once that starts to, I suppose, creep up and they're getting a consistency on that, then start to filter it on to that next KPI of website traffic, etc.?
Yeah, for me, it's always engagement first. So even if like your reach is, I don't want to say low, because look, everyone's trying, but like if it's not where you want it to be, the engagement showing you have an engaging piece of content, even if it's with a small audience, it's like, okay, I'm onto something here. And for me, it's like that's where you should build on. Because, you know, you can reach as many people as you want by throwing a load of money behind something. But if the content's not very good, then, you know, it's not worth its salt. So I would be focusing on the engagement, use that to kind of as your benchmark of like, okay, people thought that was funny, people thought that was relatable, people thought that was interesting, and kind of grow it from there. And that's kind of where you build out. But I think that's why, if you're going kind of, when you're broadly thinking about it, I suppose, you know, a combination of, you know, good organic content, a target ad strategy, and really strong creative. Like that's your kind of, you know, your trifecta, I suppose, of what you need. And that's what I suppose what I recommend. Like I'm all about dipping the toe initially, but like that's the kind of what you need when you're going for gold, you know.
Yeah, very good.
So it's all great, as you would say, putting up different types of content, but not all content is going to be the best route to go. So what would you say? What kind of mistakes should you try and avoid? Would you say, you know, like, especially starting out, you know, because you're probably thinking, you know, is it just like try, as you were saying, test, or are there things that's definitely don't go there, you know?
Yeah. So the things, I suppose, as we kind of touched on in last week, repurposing content that's kind of made for TV is just not going to work for you. So that's kind of first thing I would say. Obviously you can repurpose like TikTok and Reels, like that, you know, don't want anyone to think it has to be solely for TikTok, but the other thing is like it's so hard to say to people, like don't oversell. Like TikTok is a soft sell space. Like it's nobody wants to feel like there's a hard sell there. And again, look, it just depends on the brand and who you're working with. Some people find that really hard because they're like, I'm putting this investment into this new thing. You know, they kind of want to go hard on it, but you know, it's just for people to get used to that it's a soft sell kind of space. The other thing, I suppose,
I was going to say, is it better to sort of inform and educate as opposed to, you know, buy this like you're trying to, you know, like, you know, limited edition that's going to be gone if you don't get in touch now kind of thing is a no-no.
Yeah, you're trying to inform, information share and entertain. That's kind of like your baseline, what you're trying to do, and everything else that kind of come with it. I would say, do's and don'ts, like, trying too hard, like to be kind of too over polished or kind of taking yourself too seriously. Needs to be a little bit more kind of fun and a little bit more relaxed. If I was to give you one, like, no, please don't do it. If it's the only thing you take from this, please don't try to do a branded trend. So like, don't try to like, as a brand, we're going to start X trend and we're going to get the 1.8 million people who are on TikTok in Ireland to do it, because it won't work. And you're going to waste a lot of kind of time and energy there. And
of course.
It's tempting. It's so tempting. And I think like another thing is there are a couple of successful brand trend stories, for want of a better word, has to be doing. But the whole point of the trends is that they're organic and they're there for brands to jump on and adapt and make them their own. But don't try to start one. It won't work.
Yeah.
Okay, so Philip, no more air guitar.
Okay, hashtag air guitar.
Well, you can do air guitar if it's just your natural thing, but you
have to go and see this.
Go. Everybody else do air guitar forever.
Go over to Instagram, you'll see what I mean.
I'm going straight to watch the video after this. I'm very excited.
And like, I suppose just on those mistakes, Maeve, do you find that also that business, especially those that maybe are starting off or coming in, that they make mistakes when maybe crafting their TikTok caption and how they use hashtags, that they're just using a hashtag that is, say, 200 million views rather than kind of maybe being a little bit more niche down or specific to their video? Do you find that as well, that they're falling into, as opposed to that they have maybe a really good video, but then the caption, the hashtags leaves them down from search point of view or whatever?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, like, I suppose part of the beauty of TikTok is like how varied the niches are there. And like, I think that can maybe seem intimidating, but for brands, it should be an opportunity. So like, find a niche, pick a niche and get yourself in there. Like, a kind of realistic way to be. I suppose, look, I don't think your captions and your hashtags, like, I wouldn't recommend, like, there'll be trending hashtag. It's got nothing to do with what you're doing. Don't kind of throw it in there. But like, once you're kind of getting, if you were a consistent brand presence on there, I wouldn't get too hung up on the captions, the hashtags. It's, once it's kind of natural and keeping it going. But I would say, like, don't avoid the niches in general. Like, if you're kind of leaning into a specific niche, like, that's a good thing. It's not narrowing yourself too much, but I think some people are still at the point where they're just seeing TikTok as like a once-off thing, or we better just try it. And like, that's great for trying it out, but like, we really need to see it now as part of your armor and build it into the plan and actually be thinking about it up top when you're kind of coming up with your overarching creative. Yeah, that's what I would say.
So in other words, would you suggest maybe do your video on TikTok and then, save it and then put it out across your other platforms?
It's not even that. It's not even so much that. I suppose, in terms of for reels and all the rest, absolutely. I agree with you on that. But it's just about thinking about building, like, I think sometimes people like just TikTok is the poor forgotten sister. Like, at the end, we'll just tag it on. But there's plenty. I suppose there's an opportunity for us to be strategic in how we use TikTok. And I just want brands to start thinking about it earlier and build it into their brand plans overall. Like, if you have an overall creative concept for your campaign for the year, at that initial stage, what does that look like on TikTok? And that should be being discussed in the early stages, and how that fits in there, rather than you're 6 months down the line and it's, we better throw something at TikTok on this. And then you might kind of get advice from, an agency that knows a lot about TikTok. So, well, that's actually not going to really work there. Like, we've seen that kind of happen with people kind of coming to us and the concept has been approved like so far down the line. And it's like, that just really shouldn't put that on TikTok, full stop. But it's kind of too late for anyone at that point. So it's just about thinking about it a little bit earlier, I suppose.
Yeah.
So plan it in and see how it goes.
Yeah.
You made a very good point, Maeve, about the fact that, especially on TikTok and probably just like a lot of the social channels, that when you're trying to build up that sense of trust and, I suppose, relevance with your audience, the last thing you want to do is going in with this hard sell, etc. like for business who maybe are trying to use a TikTok to promote their services. I know you used a very good example in part one around Woody's, who kind of, showcase DIY and other tips, which sort of complements the Woody's brand to maybe then go into a Woody's and buy some of the offers or whatever. Is there any examples of companies that you might have seen where they sort of use that sort of educational or maybe humor to sort of sell their products in a sort of a non-salesy way?
Yeah. A brand TikTok account that I love is Club, like the Club drinks. I think their content's great. It's not a hard sell. It's fun. It's lighthearted. They do a lot of kind of like meme style videos nearly, it's gas. And then they do quite a bit of like on street vox pops, which I think works really well as well and kind of brings the audience in. So that's one I would check out. I think they do it really well. And also like, some like you get that feel for like some of it is rough and ready. Some of it is a little bit more polished. It gives you that kind of variety of what you can do there.
And Ryanair, I know you were saying, weren't you? You were saying Ryanair are very funny or comedic.
Oh yeah. Well, look, Ryanair, I think, they're kind of the goat of brands TikTok accounts. And look, it's like they really leaning into their personality, and sure, they're not selling anything. They're not like there's not a mention of a flight price. There's not a mention of anything. The only thing that relating to their actual service is like they get criticism about something and they're kind of slagging themselves off.
Oh, it wouldn't be their I was going to say it wouldn't be their customer service then, no.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not an ounce of you're not getting a tap of help from customer service on the Ryanair TikTok, but people love it. Like and it really, I suppose, tapped into a new audience for them in terms of like the young people in Ireland, and they were all of them were like, who is behind this account? Whoever's running this account needs a raise, like that kind of stuff. When you see see people receiving the ads well, like it's such a good sign. Like they are, because they are open to it. They just want it to be in their native kind of content. There's a creator, Eric Roberts, and another guy, Griffin Herney, and both of them regularly get comments if they do an ad for a brand. They regularly get comments underneath it being like, this is the best ad ever, like if only you could do every ad kind of thing. And it's just so funny. It's like kind of knocking the fourth like wall in a way, and it's but they're like, we appreciate it because you're coming into our space and doing it right. Safe Food actually did a campaign with Eric Roberts before Christmas. It was all about making sure that your meat was cooked to the right temperature on Christmas Day. And like that's quite a serious message, and like someone might think like that fun is that whatever, but like they used Eric, they like very like funny like skit kind of comedy humor, and they let him take this and do it in the style that works for him and still remain true to the brand, and still and it was like a gorgeous piece of content.
It reminds you to be very careful,
exactly, but in a funny way that everyone's going to remember. So that's the kind of to me is the perfect. If a brand can go, I have trust in my agency, in this creator, they know what they're doing, they know my brand values, they know what we're trying to get across, and they know the audience, and that's what you want,
because people want to stand out, and if you can do it in a different way, as you were saying, you will be remembered, and they'll want to find out, what are they going to post next, and that kind of thing. So as long Philip doesn't do the air guitars. Sorry, I have to
It really wasn't that good. It was just an AC/DC air guitar, but obviously it's made a huge impression on me. So I'll download it.
Memorable.
You get a little more followers now today after this.
Oh, you never know. Yeah, it's probably up there with that famous, the gorilla doing the drum, with the part of the. And where was it? Phil Collins. So up there with that. So, so
good choice. Good choice.
I think something.
Is it time? Or
we're still
we're
good.
gonna cool.
We still have another about 10 minutes. So
no, because you get so engrossed. I am really engrossed now listening to you, Maeve. Because as I say, I fought the good fight about TikTok, and I know quite a few people still are. So it's really refreshing to hear that it's don't be afraid, go in there and put up something and see what happens. That way.
Just a question has popped into my head, Maeve. It's just something that Emer is sort of specializes in with her clients is using social media for customer service. Do you see any elements of that coming into TikTok, whether it be customer service or people going onto TikTok to either rave about a product or complain about a product that then brands have to suddenly jump on and comment on a video?
That actually would be quite dangerous, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would.
I haven't seen it now,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
to be honest, yeah, in terms of like brands using TikTok as their kind of main customer service kind of queries, it's not something I'm seeing a lot of. In terms of like rating or slating a product, do I see a lot of it? Not really, to be honest, because like I suppose, are you going to make a video about it? Like you want to be very passionate. Now, granted, there's a lot of there's a trend at the moment. So obviously, like influencing people to buy products. So there's a trend at the moment. It's like de-influencing. So like telling people this isn't worth the money kind of thing. Or I wouldn't tell somebody to buy it. But usually that video will be about a number of products. So they're not necessarily slating them. It's just, I didn't find the moisturizer that good. I don't think this hair straightener is worth it. Whatever. But it's not kind of tearing the back off brands, I guess.
I was going to say I see a lot of a certain company beginning with P, dupes, makeup dupes for certain higher end brands. One begins with C. Next initial is T. That's all I'm going to say. But I find I kind of get drawn into going, maybe I'll go in next and I'll try it out, that way.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I think you're getting more of that on Instagram anyway. Like if we're to compare kind of the type of like content creators on both platforms, like I suppose TikTok and Instagram are the two that get compared the most. Like, the content creators we see on TikTok are vastly different, I suppose, to what we know as like a traditional influencer for, and I suppose there's kind of two sides to it. It's like the Instagram kind of influencer, most of them follow the same trajectory to get there. They kind of do this, do that, follow this kind of, and the kind of number of topics in which they can specialize in or talk about or care about. So that's where you kind of see a lot more kind of like beauty products and fashion. And I think even there, we're seeing a lot more like, a wouldn't repurchase type content. Like here is all the empties that I've had for the last 2 months, and we're seeing a lot more kind of I wouldn't rebuy, which I think we just weren't getting the honesty before. But they know the kind of jig is up and people need to start being more honest about it. Whereas on TikTok, I suppose it's so much broader about what you can talk about. Instagram, it's all about the aesthetic, even on your own page, and everything has to kind of fit into a certain piece. Whereas TikTok, it can just be like, today you can be talking about being a farmer and tomorrow you can be talking about doing your makeup. It doesn't matter. Like it's, it doesn't have to be cohesive, and it's, it's allowed creators to be have a lot more freedom about what they talk about and kind of the directions that they go. Which probably makes them feel more trusting, I suppose, as a viewer than as, I think that's why they've such, I suppose the engagement rate is so much higher on TikTok, because their audience is a lot more engaged. It feels more authentic that like you just blew up overnight making videos in your bedroom versus the person who kind of set out to be the typical Instagram influencer. So it's really interesting to kind of compare the two as well,
So I was going to say that, would you suggest maybe as an easy way in for say somebody who doesn't really want to be on front of camera, behind the scenes, like showcasing what they do, the kind of services, products that they're creating and that kind of thing. Would that be a nice angle? Like, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Stay in the life. Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely don't have to be front and center on camera. Like we did a piece during COVID with the Department of Health, and we worked with young scientists who were kind of breaking down COVID information and explaining it in a digestible way to be put out on TikTok. And like we worked with like 13 people, and some of them were very happy to like face the camera and chat, and other people were like not that comfortable with it. And that's the beauty of TikTok. Like there's loads of things you could do. You'll even see, if you look at the club, like business filter, where you can have just your eyes and your mouth, and you can kind of go into being an animate object. So the person is like talking as the can of Club Orange all the time. Like, so you'll never actually see that person. You don't know who it is.
There you go, Emer. There you go.
I think I'll go check that out now.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, it's funny content. Like, it's it's a funny way of doing it. So there's plenty. Like, there's roles there for anyone. Whether you want to be in front of the camera or not. And like, maybe it's as a brand that you can do a little bit more of the behind the scenes stuff. And then like, do you get a content creator to come and kind of be your front and center for you? So I think there's so many options, which is good. Like,
Yeah. I think it's to say it's some people still are wary of getting on camera, that way, because then they're probably think, what am I going to say? What would you say is a nice lead in? Do they like have a little kind of mini script, or do they have, pick a topic and just go for it? What would you say?
Yeah. Well, like, I would always recommend kind of storyboarding out your video, even if you're not going to script it 100%. It's like, okay, storyboard it out. What are your key messages? What are you trying to get across? What's your hook? What's the key message? What's your kind of closing? And like thinking about if it's friend related or not or whatever. It's like thinking about your English essay. Like, tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them about it, and then I wouldn't tell them again. Just close it up then. But yeah, I would definitely always kind of storyboard it out a bit, because you can always, like, we'll even do that internally. Sometimes one of us will storyboard it out and kick it over to somebody else. Someone else will go, would you not do this? Like, that's a way, like, just like a little it's way stronger now. And you can kind of level it up. But yeah, definitely plan out your content. Because it's particularly if you get nervous in front of the camera, and every time you're putting the phone in front of your face, then you're going, and you're getting, everyone gets slagging about the millennial pause, as they call it, and all the rest. But it's just about, and it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect either. Like, we're gone away from that kind of thing of, if you trip over a word, you don't need to start it again. Like, that's the authenticity and the realness that the viewers want anyway. Like, it's be honest, be yourself, be real. Don't be like perfectly polished and shiny,
So get the hook right, start from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Maeve, we can ask you two more questions. We have time for two more. I'll lead off with one, then Emer, you can wrap it up.
No problem.
From a business point of view, just for business who maybe are unaware or don't know what best practice is, would it be always advisable for a business that if you are a business to go on TikTok, set up a business account, not a personal account, because of the various differences, analytics, etc. And then I know on personal accounts, as far as I'm aware, that there's obviously restrictions to get that link. You have to have a certain amount of followers. Is that the same on business? So that if business are looking, why can't I get the link to send people to my website? Is it because they don't have enough followers, or do you automatically get that when you become a business account?
It's a good question. I'm not actually 100% sure, Philip. So definitely, set yourself up as a business account.
Yeah.
I know, like, the process to get your account verified as a business. Not that it's difficult once you can get through to someone in TikTok and get a form to fill out. It's pretty straightforward after that. But that's the challenge that I've kind of seen with clients getting to that point and want, because you do have random kind of people will have made an account under the brand's name. I don't even know why, and there mightn't even be any content on it, but you do just it's worth getting verified. I haven't come across anyone having any issues where they can't link to their website. I haven't come across that myself, but maybe it is down to number of followers before they get there. I couldn't be 100% sure.
No, that's probably fine. I think it's just because I have seen some businesses, just through my dealings and stuff, where it's always like, I think they've set it up because it's just the owner, they set it up as a personal account, not as a business account, and they're sort of missing out by not having a business account.
Go set up your personal account so you can play around with it, and then in a couple of weeks set up your business account.
Always the business account.
And then you'd be totally professional. So what
Emer, bring it home. Bring it home, Emer.
Okay. I'm saying to myself, is there a future in this? Is there a future of TikTok, would you say? And what should businesses prepare for going forward, do you think? Is it like, do you think it's going to evolve and have even more features? Or do you think they're going to sit with the platform and the format as it is until people get more comfortable using it? What would you say?
Well, look, I think we're definitely people thought at one point TikTok was a fad. I hope and I think that we're all kind of past that. We know it's not going anywhere now. In terms of the features, like, look, they're testing different features all the time. Like, even they've added, like, so Be Real, obviously. I don't actually know if Be Real existed, but I'm like, I was kind of like, Be Real is around since July. I'm on it since July. It's probably been around a bit longer than that. But so Be Real, like, you get a notifications once a day. Everybody gets it at the same time. You take a photo there and then front to back camera, yada yada. So like TikTok, like, added a feature to rival that. Nobody's really using it. I'm not even looking at it. I'm just like, no, that's not what it's for. Look, that's natural. Instagram do the same. Obviously, Instagram will like trial features to be more like TikTok as well. It's going to happen. So it's hard to know. I think like the core of what TikTok is so strong that I see it staying the same. Like, in terms of it was the first video first platform. Even Instagram is kind of trying to go that way, and obviously they're getting a lot of pushback. But I think it's quite strong in what it is, that at its basis it's going to stay. But like, even as we talked about the kind of additions in terms of the search optimization kind of in the last couple of months, like that's like, it's not a huge change to how the platform works, but it's a huge improvement. So I think those changes are always going to come with it. Like, I often feel bad for, our head of digital every time she's trying to plan something, like do plans and then Instagram add a feature or change of this and prioritize that. But what I'd say is, like, it's here to stay, and really what brands need to do is, like, it's grand if you're not au fait with it and it's not for you, but you need somebody to be. So whoever that trusted person is, you need to identify them and you need to trust them to build it into your plans. Like, your agency should be building it in. If they can't, they don't know, you need to get someone who kind of can tell you, because like, it's here, and you should feel comfortable and confident that, look, it's not 100% my wheelhouse, but this person knows what's going to work there. And it's not as scary as it seems. Like, it's fun and it's a great opportunity. It's it's an opportunity for brands. It's not the big challenge in a negative way that sometimes it can be seen as.
Absolutely. Very, very quickly, Maeve, I'd just be interested just to get your take on this. Do you think that the fact that you can now, I think, upload 10-minute videos to TikTok, do you think that's going to catch on, or will people just still go with the 20-30 second videos?
I don't think so. Don't think so. But again, I'm like, that's just my opinion. I don't think so at all. I think people, like, it's one of these
we're all goldfish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, look, also we're like, there's a place for everything on these apps. So like, like, when I go onto YouTube, I'm sitting down for like minimum 10 minutes, if not up to 40 minutes, to watch whatever I'm watching. And it's like, that's what I'm committing to. But TikTok, I'm like, oh my God, like, sure, I'm like scrolling out. If I'm like, you haven't got me in the first 7 seconds, I'm moving on to the next thing. So that's not what I'm there for. And I don't think it's what most people are there for either. So I don't see it like kind of rivaling. Like, I saw someone, Love Island, I don't know if you watch Love Island, but anyway, someone who had come out of the Love Island house, and she was on my TikTok, and and then she was like, this is for YouTube. Like, she's like, this is going to be a long one. This is not the place for it.
This has been a fantastic show, Maeve. Listen, 2 shows of fantastic insights and tips, Maeve. It's been just brilliant. Just in case people didn't catch the first show, where best for people to connect with yourself and obviously Pluto? Where would you like people to go to?
Yeah, so we're at Pluto the agency on all social media, and you can get us on LinkedIn at Pluto, and Maeve Acheson as well, which you'll the capture of the episode.
But you know what? It's really kind of enthused me now to sort of jump onto TikTok. So thank you so much, Maeve, because there are a lot of people out there who I can say, like myself, we're kind of, do I want to go on there? Do I not? That way. So thank you so much. And I want to say,
thank you.
If you find today's show anyway inspiring and would like more information, as I say, Philip said, go check out Maeve across social and Pluto, and do go have a listen to the show on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and the Dublin South FM website. I think it's Friday. I think it's time for another coffee for me.
And
and
Podbean. instead of pod bean. But hey,
I'm thinking coffee bean, coffee beans. So I was going to say, and also if video is your thing, go check us out on YouTube and ring the bell and leave us a comment and of course subscribe.
Yeah, and once again, if you have any, I suppose, topics or comments or any feedback you'd like to give us, should drop us an email to inquiries@dublinceltfm.ie. We'd love to take a look, and if we can turn your request into a show, we'd be delighted to do so.
Yes, so, indeed. So, Guy and Maeve, thanks so much.
Thanks, Maeve. Brilliant.
As the platform is not going away, hopefully you won't go away and come back and join us, and hopefully there'll be something else really entertaining to find out about what that platform is unfolding into, you know.
So listen,
thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, and do tune in again next Friday for more Let's Get Social.
See you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.